with that Nick Wright. Oh, he is on a heater. I mean, between the Chiefs and the Lakers, oh, my Lord. I mean, I don't know how your poker's going lately, but I imagine you're going to the tables and bringing home some cash for the fam.
Yeah, listen, I was there last night actually playing some cards while you are out there, whining and dining. This is what happens. You spend the long hours grinding the all-22 in the NFL, staying up late night for West Coast basketball, even on the East Coast, and what you get is America's most accurate sports pundit, who was laughed at by you, Colin. So let's talk about it, because 2 weeks ago it was Warriors in 5, and now it's the Warriors are miles away from a championship. Break them up. How could they ever have won? So what happened? Let's talk about it, my friend, because some of us had the foresight to say, LeBron plus AD plus just competent role players has equaled a championship the only other year we've had it, and now we have the exact same Final Four as the bubble, and we're about to have the exact same result. But let's talk Warriors. Let's talk LeBron. Let's talk LeBron, Steph. I want to get into all of it. This might be a 45-minute interview.
Okay,
I'm just letting you know.
I want to give you my epiphany yesterday. So I went out. I went out to have coffee with my daughter the other day, and the guy's name was Colin, came up and accosted me kind of. He said, "Hey, you going to buy into the Lakers finally?" And I said, "Time out. I had him beating Minnesota in the plan. I had him beating Memphis. I didn't like him here. I do think they'll beat Denver." But it did make me think, what am I missing? So I came to a conclusion that I missed on, that my opinion was stronger than LeBron's productivity. And I say, if you stop, I was comparing LeBron now to old LeBron. Well, that's unfair. But if you take LeBron's last 13 games and you contextualize it against the other best players, there's an argument he's a better version of Jaylen Brown, 24, 10.5, 5, 38 minutes, 50%. He's better than Jaylen Brown and pretty darn close to Tatum. And when you do that and forget his age, this is a championship team. This feels like a championship.
Of course it is. So let's talk about that exact point, because there's two LeBron points I would like to make, because when people thought the Warriors were going to win, I'm not talking about you here necessarily, it was a LeBron versus Steph referendum. Oh, LeBron's spot on route. Mount Rushmore's up for grabs. Oh, what if Steph's 4-1 in his career against LeBron? And what we heard after round one was, this is the best Steph Curry's ever been.
Yeah.
I'll concede the point. What we all know, this is the worst LeBron James since his rookie year. So we have the best Steph ever, the worst LeBron ever, and LeBron was better than him. Oh, Nick, it's unfair. Why? What's unfair? It's like when Steph had Kevin Durant. No, it's not. So LeBron has a Kevin Durant in Anthony Davis, sure. And then the third best guy is Austin Reeves, and the fourth best guy was Lonnie Walker, as opposed to prime pre-injury Klay Thompson and prime pre-injury Draymond Green. Yeah. So we have the worst LeBron we've ever seen, the best Steph we've ever seen, and in this series, LeBron more efficient, shot almost identical from the three-point line, scored the same, assisted a little less, and rebounded better, and of course, far better defensively, and of course, in the critical game of the series, Game 4, how did the Lakers win? They hunted Steph Curry defensively, and then Steph missed two critical shots, and then threw the ball backwards over his head out of bounds. Love Steph, but those are the facts. One other LeBron point. Worst LeBron we've ever seen. I agree with you. So let's compare him to remember when you and I were just getting to know each other, Colin?
Yeah.
I'd wow you with these blind reveals, my friend. I've got one for you.
Okay.
So here is LeBron this postseason.
All right.
That is compared to someone else. You mentioned Jaylen Brown. You mentioned Jason Tatum. So that is LeBron this postseason. And the person on the right, you can reveal it now. Oh, that's Bird's playoff career. So the worst LeBron we've ever seen, what he has been reduced to is Larry Bird. So it's year 20, 65,000 minutes in, LeBron has been reduced to only being Larry Bird, who when he retired was unanimously considered the greatest forward to ever live.
Yeah.
So I do think maybe because we are comparing current LeBron to peak LeBron, which is, of course, the highest peak of any player we've ever seen, it looks like he is a far lesser player, and he is, but he's still just about as good as anybody else out there.
So J-Mac had Celtics and Nuggets. I had Milwaukee, Phoenix. Didn't love either. I thought Milwaukee was old. I kept saying they look old, and it went down. I whiffed. They got old really fast. And I missed on that. And then Phoenix, they just needed more players. So, but I didn't think the Lakers were a title team. I did not know if Denver was. I didn't think the Warriors were, for the record. So now you have Denver and the Lakers. I like the Lakers because I think Jokic will face more length and will have more trouble dominating this series. There won't be as many gimmies. Whereas Anthony Davis, Jokic is not an elite defender. They're going to get plenty of Anthony Davis, plenty of LeBron, more experience. I don't know if Michael Porter and Jamal Murray in these moments, I know what I get with AD. I know what I get. I just watched Austin Reeves. So there's a lot I don't know about Denver. Wouldn't be shocked if they won. I know you like the Lakers. Just give me some context on what do you think the series, Nick, looks like?
Okay, so I like the Lakers. I can't give you my game one prediction because I do have to save that for first things first. That's only because I am 12-0 picking Laker games. Better than that stupid corgi that went viral, and so that's appointment viewing about 3:05 p.m. Eastern today on FS1. I will give you to get to a perfect 13-0. So here's where I see this series playing out. So Jokic has been marvelous. You're not going to hear any hate or slander from me on Jokic, what he's done this postseason. My concern for the Nuggets is going from the Timberwolves and the Suns defensively to the Lakers is going to be like when you get out of a hot tub and jump in an ice tub. There's going to be a cultural shock that they deal with initially because Minnesota is not a serious team, and then the Suns, by the game 3 of that series, have decided, screw it, we've got to go all offense, and they couldn't guard anything. This is where Anthony Davis is going to have to match Jokic minute for minute. And if either one of them in any game gets in foul trouble, that will swing those games. But this is an Anthony Davis defense series. I think the Lakers can win the series with AD averaging 18 points per game if he exerts entirely all of his energy on the defensive end. The reason I like the Lakers is because what we saw at the end of the Warriors series was LeBron James mismatch hunter. He did it to Steph Curry. He probably cost Jordan Poole his job. Just where's the weak defender? We're putting you in a pick and roll. And that means Jamal Murray, who is an awesome offensive player, and Michael Porter Jr., who is a streaky offensive player, are going to be forced to defend. Along with Jokic, they will force them to defend, and I think this is a LeBron series. I think LeBron, with the ball in his hands, finding the mismatch, forcing bad defenders into the action, and trying to make Jokic exert a lot of energy on that end of the court. That is why I believe the Lakers have the upper hand here. Also, I do think that the altitude can absolutely be a factor in Denver's favor, which is why it was very important the Lakers took care of the Warriors in 6. It's only 3 days off, but 3 days is going to feel like a week when you've been playing every other day thus far this postseason. So I think they're going to look pretty fresh tonight. I like the Lakers in the series.
Now you're taking you've been very good in the playoffs, you and J-Mac, and I tend to think that the NBA is steps. So Boston for years couldn't get past Milwaukee, and then they get past Milwaukee and lose in the finals. And now I think they're going to get to the finals, and I think they're going to win it, even if they play the Lakers, although I think it's a really good series, or Denver. I think they'll win. I think Denver, if they did get to the finals, would lose and then come back next year with a better chance. It's steps.
Sure.
So, but you are an outlier. You think Miami can actually beat Boston.
I like the Heat.
Wow.
Yeah, I like the Heat. So I said before the playoffs began that I thought the Heat could give Boston massive trouble in round 1. and then Miami lost in the play-in, and it set this course. Poor Milwaukee gets the 1 seed. They get Jimmy Butler and Eric Spoelstra in round 1. So it's very simple to me why I like the Heat.
Wow.
And Vegas having the Heat 15-1 to win the title is bananas. So here's why. First of all, adjustments and coaching deeply matter in the postseason.
Yes.
You might have in this series 1 versus 30 when it comes to the coaching in the NBA.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds mean to Joe Mazzulla. He was not supposed to be this team's head coach. He wasn't even the lead assistant last year. We know they lost Will Hardy, and then the Udoka situation happened. They go with Mazzulla. I have not been wildly impressed with Joe Mazzulla at any point this year, this postseason. Spoelstra, on the other hand, is the best coach in the league, full stop, ever since Greg Popovich kind of started taking time off, or at least the Spurs stopped being a real team. We'll see if that changes if they get Wemby. So there's that. Then there is this very simple question. Who has the best player? And I believe the Heat do. I understand that Jason Tatum, and people are like, oh my God, did you not see Tatum go for 51? I did. It was marvelous. I saw Jimmy go for 56.
Yeah.
And that's not to say the 56 is better than 51, but Jimmy's peaks are as high as Tatum's peaks. But his valleys are nowhere as low.
Thank you.
Tatum was scoreless in the first quarter of Game 4, 5, and 6.
Yep.
Game 6, he's 1 for 14, and that is an amazing sliding doors moment in NBA history. If with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter of Game 6, Philly had the lead with the ball, 3 straight possessions, they couldn't get it done. If they do, Doc's still the coach, Embiid's broken through, Harden's getting credit, and they're talking about breaking up Tatum and Brown. To their credit, they came through, Tatum came through, and they were brilliant in Game 7. But you are going to have some of those droughts. You're not going to get that from Jimmy Butler. The Heat know exactly who they want to be. They beat them in the conference finals in 2020. Games last year, they were down 3-2, they being Miami. Jimmy Butler is a 47-9-8 on the road in Game 6, and then a 3 to execute a 13-point comeback in the final 3 minutes of Game 7. He missed it. He is healthier than he was during round 2. I like the Heat.
Yeah.
And I don't understand what the Heat need to do for people to take them seriously. If you want to say they threw away the regular season, you're right about that. But Jimmy Butler, come the postseason, is one of the 6 best players in the world. I like the Heat in this series. I just do.
I can't rely on Bam offensively, although, and I think Boston, I tend to think your best 3 players decide a series, and the Warriors couldn't find that third or sometimes the second consistently. I get Tatum, Brown, and I think I can either get a Brogdon or a Marcus Smart. But be that as it may, I do agree. I would take Butler over Tatum. If you gave me 2 weeks, 1 series go, I would take Butler. Finally, you do something. The graphic people here, I was going to text you the other day. I love this. You created, you have something called Club Superstar. It's very, by the way, James Harden, who loves clubs, period, used to be in it. He's vamoose. He's gone.
He's been out.
How many people are allowed in?
The concept.
Yeah, what's the
12.
concept?
It's 1 in, 1 out policy. And while I do love our graphics department, as you've said before, this is, that's last year's club. So I don't know if we have the updated club. That's last year's club. Hopefully they have the updated club to show you, but I can give you the concept of it. I do love our graphics people, but as you've said, our show has an unlimited budget, Colin. That's commissioned artwork. That is actually a professional artist that makes that and then sends it in. And so the people in the club last year that were kicked out were Kawhi Leonard, Chris Paul, and Ja Morant. The new people to the club are Devin Booker, Anthony Davis, back in the club. Credit to him. And, there it is. There we go. Now here's the new club. And also in the club, Jimmy Butler, because of the postseason. You see Jaws pointing, saying, that was my seat. There's, I think, some dollars on the ground.
So tell people,
that's about.
So I like this.
So
the Club Superstar, that looks like Anthony Davis, Tatum.
AD. So there's LeBron, Giannis, AD, Lillard and Luka,
Yeah.
Tatum, Brown, Booker, KD, Steph, Jokic, and Embiid. Those are the 12 superstars of the league. The reason we created it was I didn't like people throwing around the term superstar. One in, one out. If you're going to call a guy a superstar, if you're going to say Donovan Mitchell's a superstar, so be it. Who of the 12 is he replacing? To get Devin Booker in, we had to kick Chris Paul out.
Yeah.
To get Jimmy Butler in, we had to kick Kawhi Leonard out. To get Anthony Davis back in, we had to kick Ja Morant out. I have De'Aaron Fox, Shea, and Anthony Edwards waiting in line. Kyrie was, not considered. James Harden hasn't been in there for years. Those are your 12 superstars. The most interesting question I would have for you is this, Colin. There's the 12. Let's say that next year that Donovan Mitchell does what he did this year, but even better, goes to a conference finals, and he gets in. Who do you think of those 12 is the one with the most precarious position? Who's the one most likely to be asked to leave if Donovan or SGA have to get
Dame
in?
Lillard's aging and small. Dame, I think Dame, right?
It's crazy because the guy had a 60-point game, a 70-point game, a 50-point game this year. What you can't have is 3 straight years out of the postseason.
That's right.
So I think you're right. The other one that I can't believe I'm saying it, but let's say Dame has a great year and gets traded to a contender. Well, Embiid just won MVP. What about the guy laying on the couch on his phone in Kevin Durant? Kevin Durant, it's a weird spot. Colin, Kevin Durant's 30s. His 30s.
Yeah.
He has 11 minutes of the playoffs post round 2. 2019 was injured for the conference finals, played in the finals, tragically snapped his Achilles. 2020 out for the year. 2021 lost in round 2. 2022 swept in round 1. 2023 lost in round 2 with his hand-picked teams.
Yes.
This is age 30 through 34.
Also.
Next year he's 35.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I said the other thing is it's okay to make mistakes and be emotional. You don't want to be old, eccentric guy. And if he reunites with James Harden and they're a story today, he's now worked through Monty Williams. He didn't like Kenny Atkinson. He wanted him gone. He didn't like Steve Kerr. So he's getting to be like coach killer. And LeBron's made mistakes, Westbrook. He moves off him immediately, and he never makes the same mistake twice. If Kevin teamed with Harden again in Phoenix, he's becoming the actor nobody wants to sign to a franchise. It's too eccentric.
Also, that is not – I don't understand why folks don't get that is not the model to win a title.
Yeah.
The idea that if you're the Suns, what you need is a third star, that is not why you didn't win. You didn't win – it's not because you didn't have a third star. It's because you didn't have 8 competent players on your team. In today's NBA, 2 stars is – absolutely enough as long as you have 3 through 8 are playable. The Suns, their only hope, in my opinion, is to get someone to bite on Ayton that the potentially showed to be the number 1 pick that he showed briefly in the postseason a couple years ago when I think Devin Booker was hurt for a few games, and turn Chris Paul into 3 rotational players. This trade has been out there, but I think it is one, so it's not my idea, but it's one that makes sense. The Clippers are going to lose Russell Westbrook. Trading Chris Paul to the Clippers for some of their wing depth so you can actually have 2-way switchable players and build out a rotation, that's the only hope. Because you just had Devin Booker's greatest postseason you could ever hope for, and you got rolled in round 2.
Yeah.
And Durant needs to be a little bit better, but what they need is more players. So I wouldn't add one other star, lose Harden, or lose Chris Paul, and then have it be the whole same thing again.
Yeah, no, I think 2 stars, Tatum and Brown, and then people who do things well. Marcus Smart defends well. Robert Williams protects the rim well. Brogdon can hit a jumper. Derek White.
Yes.
3 through 8, Rui can hit the corner jumper. He's got great length. Austin Reeves creates contact.
Look at the teams who are left.
Yeah.
LeBron, AD, and a roster. Jokic, Jamal Murray, and a roster.
Yep.
Jimmy and Bam and a roster. Like, that is, everybody is pretending we are still in the era of KD, Steph, Clay, Draymond. That is gone. That is not who you're competing with. What you need is to be able to fill out your rotation, and that's what the Suns should be focused on.
Good stuff, Nick Wright. First things first.
Colin, I know we're late. Just very, very quickly, it's important to me here. The legendary Doyle Brunson passed away on Sunday. He was a massive fan of yours that I became personal friends with because of coming on your show. He would tail your bets. He loved your football picks. I got to watch Chiefs-Bengals with him at his house a few months ago, and he was a huge fan of FS1. He's one of the most legendary figures in the history of poker. He passed away at the age of 89. I just wanted to shout out his friends and family on his favorite show. He liked it more than my show, your show. So shout out to Doyle Brunson. Rest in peace.
You were the first person I thought of yesterday when I saw that. The ultimate gentleman, one of the great legendary, if not the, he's the most important poker player of all time. And I had no idea. Yep. I knew he liked the show, but if he liked it more than yours, he had exquisite taste.
Yeah, he loved you. Talk to you later.
Good seeing you, buddy. The great Doyle Brunson. Saw that yesterday. And all poker players should wear, in the next big tournament, a cowboy hat in honor of Doyle Brunson. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.